Hello, this is Mike Latham at Collector Knives. Going to give you an update on the Roundhead for those interested. Anyway, this is I kind of call it the Euro Barlow, but my name for it's Roundhead. And Line still notified me yesterday that they were sending me a couple more prototypes from the full production setup, the machining that they've got to do it, and they're probably by now already turned them out. But anyway, had the setup to go, and they showed up this morning via FedEx, so they were on the fast train. But this is the Coca Cola that I've had for months. This is the original one they did by hand, and that I've had in my pocket for a long time now. And then these are the two they sent me: the Palo Santo and the carbon fiber. Got a story on the Palo Santo here in a little bit, but anyway, so uh, just to kind of talk about, I did the video on the Roundhead, and there was two or three things that I'd ask them to correct for me, just tune a little bit. One of them was this half stop. So the snap open and close was great. But this half stop, here you got nothing. It has a good stop, but it's just it had show you that there's just a little bit of, flex in that half stop. So it wasn't completely squared off, and it didn't give it that nice snap to and half stop. Uh, And then the other issues that I talked to them about were all just issues that were with the prototype because they did it by hand. There was a little between the slab and the liner. There was a little bit of daylight because they didn't get the pins knocked down far enough, and they didn't get them routed out. And just some things that we already knew once they went production wouldn't exist anymore. Uh, and so when I got these in yesterday, I was tickled to death. I mean, they just are really nice. Uh, Finished pieces. They don't have any markings on them, like I say, they're the prototype, but I'll show you the difference in the blade. They still have that nice snap, but this one, it'll pop into, and it's set there, it's squared up. So it's, anyway, just perfect. I couldn't have sit all day and tuned one any better than that, and they're both identical. So that's the way the machine is set up for them. So anyway, that's where we're at on them. I don't know, I don't know what this means that they've got two done from the machining that's set up. It tells me we're pretty close, but I hadn't. We're on different time zones, so I email them and have to wait a day to hear from them, and then they email me and have to wait a day to hear from me. So uh, anyway, I'm not the kind of guy that just will tell you something if it's not. So I hate to speculate on when they're going to be done, and there's they still, I will say, because these are on uh, bushings back here. Uh, then I mean they make them a little bit different than we do, and there's I think I can these I mean that radius back, you just can't. I can't show it to you like this. So I'm gonna change the focus on the camera and show you. They do have these two examples do have. If you look, I mean, you can't see it. There's no way you can see it from the back, and there's no way you can see it from this far off. But hold on just a second. I'm gonna change the focus here and get it up a little closer. Okay, so you can't see it. You can't see it here either. I'll give you a close up of everything while I've got it up here. But anyway, the one thing I was going to show you is if I get this just right, right there. Okay, see by that stop pin there, you can see a little bit of daylight. in the back, between the back spring and liner. You can't, there's no way you could see it here. So that's, I can't get it right. But anyway, if a fella was going to get a microscope out and look at it, that's one thing he could, he could probably find and probably uh, maybe bellyache about. But I'm almost certain, I've asked him about it, and I'm almost certain it has to do with that bushing in there and the way they taper this down so that they have full action. They don't have any resistance on the blade. But I'll show you this carbon fiber up close to you just so you can take a look at it in the closed position. I've had the skins off this carbon fiber. They're going to be really easy to mod. Uh, for somebody that's into that, they're really easy to take off and put on. But anyway, now let me change the focus again. Okay, so that's it. That's where we're at. They're, like I say, I think we're probably, I think we'll probably be seeing knives by the end of the month. I don't know, but and I'm not going to speculate for them. But we've got to communicate back and forth a time or two to say everything's good and a go, and we're off. Now, one note, because a couple of countries added Cocobolo and Ebony to CITES. I mean, there's 100 and something variations of Cocobolo, I think, or maybe that's Ebony. Anyway, Rosewoods and Ebonies. There's hundreds of variations that's been added to CITES, which is the governing over import, export, and people at Fish and Wildlife use to know who they're going to have to charge fees, regulations, all that miscellaneous stuff for. So they've been added to CITES. These guys are not going to mess with that. They're not paying the fees. They're not going to do all the paperwork it's required, all the overhead to start importing and exporting Cocobolo and Ebony. So anything in their entire product line that they've got in Cocobolo is now going to either Palo Santo or going away altogether. So they're going to, the Cocobolos I have ordered are going to be Palo Santo. And so if you need to change your reservation, or if you need to, do away with it or add to it or whatever you want to do, go ahead and do it, because they're not sending me Cocobolo. I mean, they already had it ordered, had it in stock, but it's just too much overhead. They've already had shipments turned around, sent back to them that were coming to dealers with their existing product line that had Cocobolo on it. They're not dealing with it. So this is the Cocobolo. This is probably a prime example of the Cocobolo. It's probably top end because it was on the prototype they did by hand. And this is the Palo Santo that's out of the run that they bought to do my knives. So that's the difference in the two right there, Palo Santo and Cocobolo. So if you need to change your reservation, like I say, add to, subtract from, whatever, then go ahead and do it. Don't chew on me because I don't have anything to do with it. They're just not going to do Cocobolo. If you have any questions or concerns or anything else, let me know. That's where we're at, and I've already told you more than I need. Thank you very much.